Hello there. Welcome back to Thought for the Week. My great pleasure to see you. We're talking about Paul and Barnabas, right at the beginning of their ministry together, and they were on the island of Cyprus, which had been Barnabas's home some time before. So it's fascinating that the first place they went to together was to Barnabas's old home. Now, Cyprus was an interesting place. It was a friendly place. It was a place that was very open to folks. Strangers felt at home there. Cyprus was such a blessed place that the local people and people of that time used to call it Makarios, which means blessed. In every way, they considered Cyprus to be a favored island. And it's true that the Cypriot Jewish people would have given Paul a more gracious welcome than Jews in Jerusalem because they weren't so steeped in tradition. They were more open, as we would say, to thinking outside of the box, especially outside of the religious box. Now, one of the interesting things is that when they came to Cyprus, they had someone with them, and that was a young guy called John. He's mentioned at the end of verse 5. John, it says, was with them as their helper. Now, that's not the Apostle John, that's John Mark, whose family lived in Jerusalem, and Paul and Barnabas had taken him with them so that he could, as it were, serve them on their apostolic journey. That's what he was doing there. And Luke tells us he was with them as their helper, a kind of disciple, a kind of apprentice, if you will. So I think that's fascinating. Verse 6 says they traveled through the whole island till they came to the capital city, Paphos. That was obviously their target. And there they met a Jewish sorcerer and false prophet named Bar Jesus. Curious, isn't it, that he's got Jesus in his name? But don't forget that this was a name that was the same as Joshua. And so it's quite possible that he was known as Bar Joshua. But anyway, he was a false prophet and a sorcerer. This is a tricky one. He was an attendant of the proconsul Sergius Paulus. Now, when you look at that in the NIV, the name Paulus is the same as Paul's name. But actually, there are two L's in this Paulus. And that name, Paulus, was the name of a very prominent Roman family in those days. So this man was a real aristocrat, a real high politician. So fascinating, isn't it, to see that Paul was going to have the opportunity to speak to him, but there was something in the way. And that something was a person, a sorcerer. And that's going to be a fascinating encounter. I'll tell you about it next time. Bye-bye for now.